For decades, the topic of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, has been relegated to the fringes of mainstream science and academia. Reports of unusual aerial phenomena have long been dismissed or ridiculed due to the stigma surrounding UFO research. However, a growing number of scientists are now striving to apply rigorous scientific methods to investigate these unexplained sightings in a severe and evidence-based manner. At the forefront of this effort is the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, SCU, a nonprofit organization founded in 2015 to advance academic research on UFOs. Led by former military personnel, scientists, and technical experts, the SCU aims to collect and analyze data from credible UFO cases in a transparent, peer-reviewed manner. Unlike many UFO groups focused solely on sighting reports, the SCU concentrates on intricate incidents with corroborating evidence like radar tracks and video footage. This data-driven approach seeks to overcome the stigma around UFO research and engage more mainstream scientists. A prime example of the SCU's work is their extensive analysis of the 2004 Nimitz UFO encounter, one of the most widely reported events. Through meticulous examination of military testimony and available documentation, the SCU determined the capabilities of the unidentified aerial vehicle surpassed any known technology. Such evidence-based research aims to establish UFO studies as a legitimate scientific field. However, overcoming decades of taboo presents ongoing challenges. For as long as humans have reported sightings of UFOs, a timeline stretching far back, the mainstream scientific community has largely dismissed these claims as unfounded. Even though we are currently experiencing a resurgence in interest in ufology, a few pioneering scientists are striving to inject academic rigor into the study of UFOs. Consider Richard Hoffman, an IT specialist with over 2 decades of experience, who previously worked on contracts for the U.S. Army's Materiel Command at Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. As a senior lead architect, he was responsible for maintaining and securing the Army's digital networks. Hoffman is also engaged in UFO research. The scientific community still faces the challenge of overcoming years of stigma attached to what is perceived as pseudoscience or marginal science, Hoffman explained to Popular Mechanics. While many scientists are intrigued by the phenomena, the prevailing sentiment discourages open engagement, leading them to conceal their interest. Today, there are scarcely any UFO organizations left, Hoffman observes. Among the few that persist, each offers its unique insights into the phenomena, yet the majority focus on gathering data rather than conducting in-depth scientific analysis of the cases. The distinction of the SCU, which is significant, lies in its collection of data that is amenable to analysis and examination by scientific experts, leading to the generation of peer-reviewed papers that are published in journals and online. Hoffman explains, unlike gathering daily UAP sighting reports, the SCU focuses on the more intricate cases that involve multiple forms of sensory data, such as radar tracks and video footage. The SCU significantly contributed to the 2004 Nimitz UFO encounter analysis by releasing an extensive, nearly 300-page report on the incident. The event garnered widespread attention in 2017 after the New York Times published a pivotal article about Navy pilots encountering and capturing video footage of an unidentified object off the coast of San Diego in November 2004, using their F-18 gun camera. In 2019, Popular Mechanics released an article detailing accounts from additional military personnel who observed the Nimitz encounter through their radar systems and the ship's video system. The SCU report analyzed publicly available data and testimonies related to the case, determining that the results indicate the AAV's capabilities surpass any existing technology. To clarify, the SCU has not asserted that the phenomena are the work of non-human intelligence. Acknowledging the considerable gaps in information, the organization has advocated for the complete public disclosure of all Navy records about this incident to facilitate a thorough, scientific, and transparent investigation. The UFO research community often grapples with limited data on UFO events. Most cases rely heavily on anecdotal evidence. When tangible evidence or data does emerge, the entrenched networks of ufological conspiracy and myth-making threaten to compromise the integrity of that data. There hasn't been an extensive and well-funded scientific investigation of these phenomena using state-of-the-art investigative tools and a dedicated investigative team. Robert Powell, an SCU executive board member and device physics expert, tells Popular Mechanics, "The SCU is aiming to change that. Membership in the organization requires a resume submission, and a committee meets to vet each new member thoroughly. So who makes up the 120-plus members of the SCU exactly? Mostly scientists, former military officers, and former law enforcement personnel with technical experience and investigative backgrounds," Powell says. While SCU encourages all UAP scientists to publish their work through peer-reviewed journals, and SCU members have been authors, a stigma still exists about UAP research. This prevents quality papers from being published in mainstream journals simply because the topic is UAP. Therefore, SCU also provides a peer review process for UAP papers submitted to SCU for publication, Powell says. To begin bridging the gap between the UFO research community and the scientific community, the SCU formed its open-access peer-reviewed academic journal, Limina. Anyone wishing to submit a paper to the journal should contact SCU, Powell says. Yet, despite the promising progress, the SCU and similar organizations are still facing an uphill battle. The decades-long taboo surrounding UFOs and their study is thoroughly entrenched in established scientific and academic communities. They are, in essence, a dirty subject that can kill a professional career. In 1953, the Robertson Panel was formed to look at UFO reports at the government's behest due to a string of odd aerial objects being spotted over Washington, D.C. the previous year. The panel concluded in its classified report that UFOs posed no risk to national security, and proposed that the National Security Council actively debunk UFO reports to ideologically inoculate the public to ensure UFOs would become the subject of ridicule. The panel even recommended that intelligence agencies monitor UFO investigative and research groups for subversive activity. 17 years later, the infamous Condon Report, which was a product of the U.S. Air Force and the University of Colorado, was responsible for the death of the Air Force's UFO study, Project Blue Book. The report became controversial when a memorandum was released, explaining that the report itself had to trick the public into thinking the study was objective. Still, it would ensure that the final and official position is that all UFO incidents were hoaxes, delusion, and human error. Despite promising developments, the SCU and similar entities continue to confront significant challenges. The long-standing stigma associated with UFOs is deeply rooted in the scientific and academic spheres and is often regarded as a controversial topic that could jeopardize a professional career. In 1953, the Robertson Panel was convened at the government's request to examine UFO sightings, especially after unusual aerial phenomena were observed over Washington, D.C. in the previous year. The panel's secret findings asserted that UFOs did not threaten national security. They suggested that the National Security Council should actively debunk UFO sightings to encourage public skepticism, thereby diminishing their significance. It was even suggested that groups investigating UFOs be surveilled by intelligence agencies for potential subversive actions. 17 years later, the notorious Condon Report, a collaboration between the U.S. Air Force and the University of Colorado, effectively ended the Air Force's UFO investigation project, Project Blue Book. The report sparked controversy when a memo revealed its intention to mislead the public into believing the investigation was unbiased, while its ultimate goal was to dismiss all UFO incidents as fabrications, delusions, or misinterpretations. The perspective on this topic is evolving, much like it is with many other issues. UFOs were officially relegated to a topic of mockery. This, combined with the emergence of New Age UFO prophets, cults, tales of extraterrestrials from Venus, secret bases in Antarctica, and the fusion of UFO lore with conspiracy theories, meant that those relying on empirical evidence or a logical approach to research were often grouped with individuals claiming to be alien communicators or ambassadors from the future who exploit people's naivety for profit. It's understandable why academics, professionals, and scientists avoid the topic publicly. During research for this article, a physicist from a New York university shared their unease and requested anonymity, citing their ongoing pursuit of tenure. The scientific community doesn't seem more receptive or open-minded than before. Alexander Wendt, PhD, a political science professor at Ohio State University, shared with Popular Mechanics. However, what appears to be changing are the politics surrounding this issue. I believe there's a shift in attitude, similar to changes we see in other areas. It's likely that the younger generation in particular is spearheading this shift, showing greater openness to these discussions. Wendt, who has conducted academic research on UFOs and delivered a TEDx Columbus lecture on UFO science, is a board member of UFO Data, an initiative aiming to deploy advanced observation systems for monitoring the skies and identifying unexplained phenomena. He acknowledges the challenges in securing funding for UFO research due to the prevailing stigma. Grants are nearly unattainable as neither government bodies nor established scientific institutions are willing to finance such studies. Thus, crowdfunding and support from private donors emerge as viable alternatives for funding these ventures. UFO Data is not alone in its pursuit of observational research. Project Hessdalen, an observatory in Norway observing unusual light occurrences in a valley for 30 years, receives support from Osmold University College and private contributions. Similarly, the UFO Data Acquisition Project, UFODAP, is developing compact computer systems equipped with multiple sensors to detect and document aerial anomalies, providing valuable data for analysis. Hoffman notes the ongoing apprehension among academics and scientists towards ufology, even in light of the 2019 Navy revelation that UAPs breach U.S. airspace and the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. This announcement has sparked increased curiosity and drew some scientists into the conversation. We find this development promising and anticipate further progress. However, the UFO community is divided into factions that often dismay scientists, Hoffman remarks. The SCU aims to support scientists and earnest researchers by emphasizing the role of science in advancing their pursuits. We strive to be a haven where conspiracy theories are absent and scientific methods prevail. Thus, while the reality of UFOs is no longer contested, their origins remain a subject of speculation. The UFO community traditionally consists of cultural and social outliers, often marginalized rather than esteemed. Despite some remaining skepticism about unexplained aerial phenomena, emerging evidence gradually suggests these occurrences are far from trivial. The origins of these data-rich UFO sightings, whether they stem from classified government projects, extraterrestrial intelligence, or phenomena that challenge our existing scientific and philosophical frameworks, leave us pondering alongside many thinkers and indeed scientists, what if? While organizations like the SCU have made progress in their rigorous, evidence-based study of UFOs, significant challenges still need to be addressed due to the deep-rooted stigma around this topic. Gaining acceptance among the mainstream scientific community and securing adequate funding for research continues to be an uphill battle. Moreover, government agencies need more transparency about what data and materials they may possess, which impedes comprehensive examination of this phenomenon. Nonetheless, the U.S. government's recent acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena marks a turning point. Younger generations appear more receptive to open-minded discussion of UFOs than older skeptics. Emerging technologies may also facilitate improved data collection through networks of advanced sensors monitoring the skies. As observational evidence expands through initiatives like UFO Data and UFODAP, it brings the promise of identifying patterns to focus scientific investigation. Ultimately, as the article discusses, the reality of unexplained aerial phenomena breaching military airspace is undeniable. But determining whether they represent classified government programs, extraterrestrial technology vastly beyond our own, or natural but little understood atmospheric or environmental anomalies remains an enigma. By rigorously analyzing credible cases and judiciously considering all hypotheses, organizations like the SCU hope to establish UFO studies as a legitimate scientific field. While challenges persist, their evidence-based research aims to shed light on this enduring mystery.